Hello, this afternoon I'm speaking with Geoffrey Young. He's a candidate for Congress in Kentucky's 6th District. Jeff, thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me, Victor. It's a pleasure.
Let me start with the question most of my viewers want to know right away, which is, do you support Bernie Sanders' political revolution?
Definitely. I'm running as a Democrat. I call myself a Bernie Sanders Democrat, and I support virtually his entire agenda for America.
So what exactly does political revolution mean to you? I mean, revolutions don't go on forever. How will you know when the revolution has succeeded?
Well, I might question your assumption. Political struggle, political action goes on as long as people are trying to make things better. So I would say a revolution continues.
Permanent revolution. I don't
Right.
suppose you're. I don't think you're a Maoist, right?
No, I'm not a Maoist. I'm incredibly nonviolent. Have been for the last 40 years since I read the autobiography of Gandhi in high school.
I see. So aside from Senator Sanders' Democratic Socialist agenda, uh, what else would you like to accomplish while you're in Congress?
Well, I'm not currently in Congress. I will have to first defeat the incumbent, who is a generic, typical Republican. He's been in there, I think, about 3 years now. So after defeating him, my top priorities will be strength through peace, which means a complete reevaluation of our foreign policies, the federal budget, and my main proposal there is to cut federal spending on the military and the so-called intelligence agencies by 50%. I'm concerned about the Planned Parenthood and abortion issue. I think the Republican Party is wrong and destructive on that issue. And I'm concerned about fighting racism in America.
Let me ask: do you support an amendment to the Constitution that would overturn the Citizens United and all related decisions? That would be McCutcheon from 2014 and Buckley v. Vallejo of 1976, that initiated this whole idea that money spent on speech is protected by the First Amendment.
Yes, I do support overturning those Supreme Court decisions and the laws arising out of them. I feel that my own very, very senior senator, Mitch McConnell, has devoted his entire political career in Kentucky and in Washington to eliminating all restrictions on campaign contributions. I think that's totally wrong-headed, corrupts our political process, and I'm completely against it.
Let's switch subjects to climate change. I believe you're not in denial of that. So would you
No.
support something like government mandates, say, for example, that all cars and trucks and recreational vehicles and the like manufactured or sold in the United States needs to be powered by non-fossil fuel sources, something like that, say by 2022 or 2025? Give them a deadline. Would you support that kind of mandate?
Actually, I wouldn't. I believe in market solutions to solve environmental problems. And the good news is that the energy efficient and less polluting technologies often are the cheapest ones and the most economically competitive ones if you first eliminate the biases that are built into our so-called free market economy. So what I'm saying is if you account properly for all of the costs, including environmental costs, the most efficient, least polluting technologies almost always win. So I favor market solutions such as a carbon tax. EPA, a lot of their current regulations are very well founded, and I support them.
Changing subjects again, would you support a tax increase on the 1%? And if so, by how much? What would be the top marginal tax rate you could support?
The answer is yes. I feel that the most powerful and richest 1% of Americans and the corporations have been getting a free ride for the last 30 or 40 years, relatively free ride. I would support anything that Bernie Sanders would propose in regard to the top income tax rates. And, you know, being a one member of Congress, I would do everything I could to support his tax proposals.
Is there any item on Senator Sanders' agenda that you disagree with?
I listened to the foreign policy debate last Saturday night, and I was a little bit disappointed. I think Bernie Sanders' positions on foreign policy in general are much better than those of any Republican, much better than Hillary Clinton's positions on foreign policy, even though she was Secretary of State. But I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't uphold international law more strongly. The problem with trying to run a military empire, which is what Washington is trying to do, is that invariably you break the law. You commit aggression, you invade countries, you operate a drone war that's totally illegal. And I wish that Bernie would start talking about the legal aspects, because the legal aspects are also the moral aspects. It's the golden rule in foreign affairs. It's not complicated. When you fly drones over Pakistan and kill people almost at random, they begin to hate you. They hate America. And some of them have good reason to do so. The best way to fight terrorism is to reduce the amount of terrorism that our military commits and our CIA.
That's clear enough. Just a final question. When is the last time the 6th District of Kentucky was representative by a Democrat?
That would have been Ben Chandler. Let's see, I think he may have lost in 2012. So 3 years ago, we were a blue district, and I'm incredibly excited by the possibility of turning it blue again.
Well, best of luck to you, and appreciate your time spent talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you, Victor. I appreciate it also.